In today's episode, we are going to talk about how you show up. I know that over the years, I've had some challenges with perfectionist tendencies, making sure I feel like going into something, everything is all put into place and perfect before I show it to the world. And I've really had to work through that and get some clarity around who I am and how I need to show up as myself. And not focus so much on what other people think of me. And that's been a real challenge. Well, today I'm excited because I have a special guest, Miss Meredith Hancock from Hancock Media, and she's been a big part of my business since day one. She actually designed the logo for Sierra Learnership Collaborative and has continued to support me in all of my endeavors ever since then, and is a big part of Tri-State Leadership Summit today. But she's amazing with branding and helping people find clarity and purpose and who they are and how they show up. So today's episode is called Your Story Matters. Show up with clarity before you're ready. Thank you for being here today, Meredith. I'm so excited. You're finally in the room.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited. This is a great subject, and I'm glad you're trusting me to be on here with you.
Of course I would. So we have listeners outside the area. Everybody here knows Meredith Hancock, of course, but outside of our region, if you don't mind giving a little background and maybe what got you started in Hancock Media and some of your story.
Yeah, well, I guess since I started with crayons when I was a kid, I love being creative. My dad was an artist, a fine artist. He was the art director at the Apollo in Martinsburg for a little bit. And just watching him create things, I always, so I started drawing cartoons like Garfield and The Simpsons and realized that, hey, I'm kind of good at this.
Yeah.
And so always the art things that I got involved in. And even in high school, did the Votech commercial art program and went to a 2-year art school and got my associates and got a job in the newspaper industry. And then went back and got my bachelor's degree online to learn more digital design, and worked in the newspaper industry, I guess about 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess it's 2011. I was kind of tired and stressed, and I had some side clients. I mean, I would work after work for free for people just to get extra experience and build up the portfolio, and just always working toward that. And I had enough clients, so I just kind of took a leap of faith and started my own business. And that was in 2011. And so I kind of hid out in my house and just did the work that was there. And I guess it wasn't until 2017 that I kind of got some clarity, and rebranded to Hancock Media because I was Hancock Graphics, but people thought it was just a sign shop or something, and it didn't entail like everything that I do, publishing, website, social media, branding, just kind of the full gamut of media. So I rebranded. I worked with an author I'd done children's book illustrations for, who was also a coach, and developed kind of my vision and my focus, and it's kind of been history ever since. I started networking and got to know the Winchester community, and I have a heart for nonprofits and small businesses. I work with a lot of local nonprofits and small businesses, publishers nationwide, and it's been amazing. Just I love the thing I love the most is the people that I get to meet, and work with.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fun to tell their stories with
them,
right?
Yes.
Be a part of that story.
Yes.
That has to be really fun. Mm-hmm. So 20 plus years of this, right?
Yeah.
So, and then also you mentioned networking. So Director of Women of Winchester, which has been a part of my life too. I was very nervous to start networking when I started my business, but it felt like a safe place to walk into. And I know I don't get to come every month now because things are crazy busy.
You will in June, though. You're our featured speaker, so we'll see you in June. And it's all about empowering women and creating a table for them to come to. It's kind of nice to, get dressed up and have a brunch with other women who are networking and there not to compete, but to lift each other up. Yeah. We have a great board that I'm blessed to work with, and the featured nonprofit speaker. Everyone shows up with door prizes. We do a big scream at the end. It's kind of fun. Lori leads that up, but it's just a great opportunity. And I walked in there. I was invited by Janie in 2017, like the very second one when it became WOW.
Okay.
And I was so I'd never done that before, out of my comfort zone. And I wouldn't think like 3 years later I'd take it over,
Yeah.
because it was kind of tough during COVID,
Hmm.
because the director had to leave for her job. And so I kept it alive on Zoom for a few months and then built it back up. And actually got to share my story in October of 2021. That was really fun. But just the women that show up and the topics, and it just all
Yeah.
comes together each
Yeah.
month, and it's pretty amazing.
It's
So
beautifully
thanks for being
done.
a part of it.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, thanks for letting me be a
Hmm.
part of it.
Yeah.
It's been really cool. So, I want to talk about this clarity piece. So, you even mentioned finding your own clarity, and I'm
Hmm.
curious, how did you find clarity for
Mm.
yourself?
It was through seasons, I
Okay.
think. Kind of that isolation and just almost like some burnout in there too, of just
Hmm.
doing the same thing over and over. And I always like, with my mind, a little ADHD, so I need versatility, and I like to have different skills and skill sets, and wanted to kind of branch out and
I love how you just did that.
yeah,
Branch
branch
out.
out. And yeah, I just thought of the podcast. But yeah, just to branch out and get more involved and
Hmm.
quit hiding out. And so first step was defining my vision and my mission and my goals, and that was with the help of a business coach. And it also helped me develop processes, because
Hmm.
a lot of people will come to me with a logo. I just need a logo. And really, what they need is clarity, right?
Hmm.
They need to know how they show up, who they serve, and what they're all about,
Yeah.
to get that message out. And it requires honesty. So that's when I came up with, design to make a difference.
Hmm.
Because, yes, I may just, I don't just design
Yeah, I was going to say,
logos.
don't you take that just
Yeah,
out of
yeah, I
there.
don't just design logos, but I build, help people build their message and show that visually and help reinforce it. And I had that questionnaire. You went through that.
Let me just tell you. So I kind of was, I knew nothing about business, right? I was just doing that for the first time, and I
Mm-hmm.
knew I needed a logo. And when you sent over that questionnaire, it made me really think. And you were
Mm-hmm.
asking questions that blew my mind. Like it almost, I had never thought about what goes into a logo before. I just really hadn't thought about
Mm-hmm.
it. And it made me stop and analyze some logos of companies that I look at and I admire and what stands out about those.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were talking about like characteristics to describe the business and how it should make people feel. And I'm like, I have no idea.
Yes.
So I loved that reflection
Mm-hmm.
because it gave me, probably as the business coach did for you, it
Mm-hmm.
gave me that clarity as to my own plan for the business. Had I not gone through that exercise, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I would have gone in with a clear mission and vision like I did.
Yeah.
So thanks for that.
Yeah, it makes you be honest, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
how you show up, who you serve, and
Yeah.
you know, um, what you stand for. So,
Yeah, it's a great process. So what do you think, or what do you see most commonly stand in the way for people that are afraid to show up for the first
mm,
time? What's getting in the way of people showing up as themselves?
I think it's comparison,
Mm,
perfectionism, and just thinking you have to have it all perfect before you even start. But really, it's just about being honest and taking the next step.
yeah.
Post the thing, share the thing. Done and shared is better than perfection, right?
Yeah.
Once you do it, you're like, okay, and then that builds the confidence.
Hmm.
And if you're honest and just who you are, that's going to show up
Yeah.
to the people that want to work with you.
Do you feel like the comparison thing has gotten worse since social media became a thing?
I absolutely. I'm so glad it wasn't around when I was a kid. But I could see that. I think in the isolation you can get caught up in that, but when you
Mhm.
network and see, oh, there's other people out there, we all have goals, we can help each other. There's enough work for everyone, right?
Mhm.
So it's just finding your people, and comparison can be good though, because it can push you
Yeah.
to learn new skill sets. Or yeah, I know with social media, reels are a huge thing, right? And
Mhm.
I do that for a lot of my clients now. And 3 years ago, I probably would have been terrified of that, right?
Yeah.
But now it's fun. I get to go and do video shoots with clients and clip
Mhm.
things together, and it's a great time. And just helping people realize you could even have yourself typing and video of that and a text overlay. If you're terrified to speak, just offer, people a little bit about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm this is my background, this is what I do, and this is why I love what I do. Things like that. Doesn't have to be overcomplicated.
Mm-hmm.
I think we overcomplicate it, we overthink it, and we compare. But those can also be some tools to push you further. I know some people, it just freezes them up.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And when you're talking about comparison, I immediately thought of when I first started my business, I looked at Jay Foreman and I like put him up on this pedestal and I'm like, I want to be Jay Foreman when I grow up. I want to spend more time with him and get to know him and what can I do to like emulate him, right? And so what has always stood out about him is his ability to tell a story and captivate an audience. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't until we did 10 rounds last year at Tri-State Leadership Summit that it finally occurred to me, because he's given me books to help me learn to tell stories in my speaking and all this. And like I was trying to be him. It helped me to realize last year that there's half the audience that loves his storytelling, but there's half the audience that appreciates my like direct to the point, here's the process and what you implement. And so what I do resonates with some and what he does resonates with some. And instead of trying to be him, like just leaning into my analytical side, right? And letting him be the storyteller, that it works really well together. And so I've learned, like, instead of the direct comparison, like what are their strengths and how can I collaborate with them and pull in someone's strengths rather than me trying to learn their strengths. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I think that has been a journey for me as well. So that's helped me to get over it. So I say that because maybe someone listening could look at that person that they look up to and say, like, how can I work with them and tap into their strengths? But what are mine that I could be leaning into?
Absolutely. Have some coffee with that person,
Yes.
collaborate with them on an event or something, kind of build on each other's strengths.
Yeah.
I feel like, a cord of three isn't easily broken, right? Always have someone a few steps ahead of you, have someone a few steps back, and you can all pull each other through and, get stronger.
And then the perfectionist tendencies. So when I think of like artists, I can't even imagine being an artist because everything artists do, you're so creative. Everything's beautiful, and I'm just not creative in general. That's difficult for me. But I feel like it would be an endless process. I would always find one more thing that I need to do to improve it. How do you work through perfectionist tendencies? Has that ever been an issue for you?
Well, I tend to just put everything down and make a mess of it. Okay. And then fine tune it.
Okay.
I'm kind of a messy person, I will admit. But then, it's fine tuning the end products. I may have like 10 ideas that I didn't even show the client because they were just flushing out what's in my brain, and do the best you can. It's like a target, with anything. Do the best you can. Focus, pull back, do the best you can, let go. And don't overthink it. Again, the overthinking. It's like did a painting, and I love fine art, but I just don't make the time to do it for myself, right?
Yeah.
So for years, I'm like, I want to do the Artscape project downtown, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I love taking photos of flowers, and I'd taken a lot of pictures around the MSV Trail. Do you ever walk that?
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. I'm walking it this week. I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Yeah, so I have this collection of photos in my phone, a folder called Flowers I'm going to paint, right?
Oh, cool.
And it's just been sitting there. So I'm like, this is the year I'm going to do it. So I pushed myself in January, and there's this really pretty picture of some thistles, and you could see the trail behind it, and it's just very nice setup. So I'm like, I'm going to do this. And actually, I went over to a friend's house who's also creative. I'm like, we're going to paint today.
Good, yeah.
So when we left, I'm like, this looks like a high school painting. I was so disappointed in myself, right?
Aww.
But, that week, when I don't rush through things, and can really think about it and walk away from it for a little bit and then come back to it. So over like the next week, I added a little more detail here, a little more lighting here. And finally got it to the point where I was really proud of it, and then I'm like, okay, I'm signing it, I'm taking a picture, and it's still like they haven't done the reception or anything yet, but it did get accepted.
Oh, good.
Yay.
Congrats.
So yeah, I can check that off my things I've always wanted to do list, right? But yeah, it's still sitting in my office. But of course, I look at it. I'm like, maybe no. So I think it is a process, but it's okay to go back and fine tune and tweak. But
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like to just lay it all out
Yeah.
and then sand the edges, I guess.
Yeah. No, it makes total sense. I actually went to, Matt's probably going to laugh at me because I'm going to say it all wrong. I went to an event last week to support a friend, and it was like a winery partnered with an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then, do you know Eric Jorgensen, Rabbit? Have you met
I've
him yet?
heard of them.
So he's a leadership development coach and trainer
Mm-hmm.
in our area, and he partnered up with them. And I guess there's a book called Wabi Sabi. Have you heard of it?
No.
And the whole concept was about like finding the beauty in imperfection
Mm-hmm.
and realizing that
Mm-hmm.
like that's beautiful in itself,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of simplifies it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and learning to kind of walk away. That's a good lesson for me, for sure. I was even trying to read The Artist's Way this year. Have you looked at that before? So it's all about like finding your, I guess, creative passion, like reigniting it and not getting obsessed with like perfection, but each week doing different artist activities on your own, like as a date with yourself.
That sounds
And
great.
yeah, I should show it to you. A lot of my interior design friends, they actually taught me about it because it's helped them with their creativity and kind of
Okay.
reignite it when they get burnt out. It's really cool. But anyway, I had the best of intentions this year of doing it. It's supposed to be like a 6-week program, and you do a certain amount each week. And I keep getting away from it, but I think this is shining a light on my need for working on the creativity and making sure that I focus on it being art and not being perfect.
Right.
That's why I never do it, because I
Right.
know it's never going to be as pretty as something Meredith could do, right? I'm comparing it to another person and
Yeah,
saying
and
there's
there's-
always something to change.
Yeah, and there's always going to be someone better. I mean,
Yeah.
no matter what. And I look at that painting and I'm like, but it's me, it's my style, and it's how
Yeah.
I show beauty to the world, and share
Yeah.
it. So I should be proud of that.
And it'll resonate with somebody.
Mhm.
Somebody will see that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That anyway, I think it's really cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
So, how much of it is actually a branding challenge when people are coming to you rather than just a lack of clarity as to where they want to take their business?
I think in every situation, it's a lack of clarity. Unless they've come to me and like, hey, I have this brand strategy and this is what if they already have that part of it. Most people don't have that part of it. They haven't kind of looked at who are they serving? How do they show up for them? What problems do they solve? I think it's answering those questions and putting their personality and skill set into it. And that's why, I ask all those questions to get that clarity on their vision to move forward. And I can't read people's minds. I wish I could. That would be amazing. But it helps me develop some ideas that really fit them and suit them, and that they can be reproducible, and just a good system, I guess, to follow.
Yeah.
But ultimately, yeah, most people don't know all
Yeah.
those things when they show up for.
What do you find that they typically focus on that isn't as important? They show up thinking they have what you need. What are they focused on
Right.
that creates the gap?
Here's this logo my niece designed. I want you to use this. Can you make it look better? Or here's this AI logo I developed. Can you make it look better? Just fonts, and I think they focus on the details of the fonts and the colors, but not the bigger picture of what they're trying to accomplish and who
Yeah,
they're trying to
That's
reach.
fair. Well, when it comes down to it, I hadn't even thought about the meaning that each color has, like until I went through that process. Like, what does this color actually represent?
Yeah, the whole psychology. And,
Yeah.
Right.
So
I don't
there's
think
so
you would
much
want to
to
use
it.
a red color for accounting. Please don't.
There you go. That's
some
the
things
tip,
like that.
Tip of the
Target's
day.
okay. I think they're pretty strong branding with that. But,
Yeah.
different. But that's where I can come in and kind of guide people and help them.
Yeah. So this goes way beyond just focusing on a business trying to create a logo. So this applies to everybody in leadership and thinking about how they show up and who they are, right? This is big picture, a leadership skill, being able to figure out who you are and how you want to show up. How did you figure out who you authentically were and how you wanted to show up when you go to these networking events and who you want to be beyond just your brand, but your brand as a person? How did that work for you?
Well, I think it goes back to the storytelling piece
Okay.
because if you know me, you know I've gone through a great deal of pain and loss with my
Mm-hmm.
parents and that brokenness, but it's also how I found my faith
Yeah.
and how I discovered that I was like, Lord, if I could just help one woman, that would be amazing. I don't know how we're
Mm-hmm.
going to do it. Maybe I'll, make t-shirts and sell them. I don't know, Lord, please. But he'll put people in your life. And I like to show my gift of mercy to others through serving and
Mm-hmm.
giving and volunteering where I can. It's not just about the work and designing logos. That's great because that's how I survive and how I can do these things.
Yeah.
But I think the design to make a difference is just how I show up in the community,
Mm-hmm.
um, how I show up for my clients, how I serve others and give of my time, talent, and resources.
Yeah.
And I think that comes through, you know.
Oh,
I think
100%.
that comes through
Yeah.
definitely. I love serving with Women of Winchester. With at my church, we do outreach and serving meals, and it really gives you a perspective, on how blessed we are just to wake up
Mm-hmm.
and have our basic needs
Mm-hmm.
when there's so much need out there, and
Yeah.
I think God has helped let me help hundreds of women at this point,
Way more than that.
yeah, and being a part of Valley Light Foundation, I've done some mentoring there.
Okay.
Yeah, and even I have a new intern, paid intern is my assistant,
Oh, cool. I
and I've
didn't know
had
that.
interns before. I've had
Yeah.
interns from Liberty and SU and things like that. But I think just being like I said, pulling the one with you that's kind of a few steps behind and leaning into
Mm-hmm.
those with more wisdom and knowledge because they've had more years of experience. But yeah, I think, does that answer your question?
It
Okay.
does. It does. But I'm curious, did it require you to show up before you were ready?
Yes, yes. I didn't want to walk into that first WOW meeting. I was like, I'm not good enough to, there was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that perfectionism and, but it's just showing up, I think, is the first step. You
Yeah.
don't have to have it all together. Certainly not perfect. And I still just, every day, I just focus on showing up and doing what I was put on the shirt to do. And that's the best gift you
Yeah.
can give people.
It really is. I love that you're saying show up. That came through in a recent episode. So when folks listen to, actually, I think it was Patty's episode, when she left people with a final word, it was just
Mm.
show up, just do it.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
it's ringing through a lot recently. But I think if you were actually to ask all the people in that room that you were afraid to walk into, they all felt that way the first time
mm-hmm,
too. And there are so many people willing to like take you under their wing and support you in that
mm-hmm,
transition when you don't feel like you're supposed to be in that space that you're in.
mm-hmm,
That's what I found for
mm-hmm,
sure. Like when I really talk to people about it.
mm-hmm.
I can pretend to be extroverted all day, but I am an introvert through and through.
I think, yeah, I'm an ambivert. Like when I
Yeah.
need to be extrovert, I can be, but I need that time to recharge.
Yeah. Yeah. This segment is brought to you by Work Smarter Digital. Your leads aren't ghosting you, you're ghosting them. Work Smarter Digital gives small businesses a fully built, ready to run CRM sales system so you can stop wasting months setting up software and start following up tomorrow. Don't leave your revenue hanging. Start working smarter today. Visit WorkSmarterDigital.com to learn more and book a demo. That's WorkSmarterDigital.com. So, what are the things that you find yourself stepping into today that you still don't feel 100% ready for?
Well, I just keeping up with the trends and
Mm,
that can be a trap too because trends come and go so fast
they do.
with social media, and that's where you have to go back to, okay, it's not about hitting this trend, it's about helping this client with their voice, and
Mm-hmm.
I do get caught up in comparison, I think, with so many, I mean, AI and like, oh, am I going to be useful in a couple of years? But there's that years of experience that AI can't replicate. We
Yep.
just had a TEDx speaker at our TEDx event talk about that AI and human experience. So I think just showing up and believing that what I have to offer is of value.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's things that I know like the back of my hand that other people don't know, and that would be helpful, right?
Yeah.
Um, and being a part of events that push me. I'm going to lead a Reels how-to little seminar in a couple of weeks
Okay.
with the Shenandoah County Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, good.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
And I've done that before. I've done a few workshops for people, and that also helps push me and be like, oh, hey, I do know stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I can help people. They are getting value out of this,
Of course.
and really enjoying this. So I think just pushing myself to always be learning
Mm-hmm.
is where I don't stroke, but making the time to do it.
Yeah.
I know with you, and you have the wheel of growth, right?
Yeah.
And the skills, I'm like, what have I done this week to help me strengthen some skills or learn a new thing?
Yeah.
So at least one thing per week, can help with that.
I'm glad that stuck with you.
It did.
That
It
makes me
actually,
happy.
I actually met John Maxwell at a conference back in the fall, and one thing he said that was so funny, he's like, you can't do the did until you do the do, and you can't do the do until you do the did.
Do the did. Yeah. He says the funniest things.
But
You'll
that
go back
stuck
and
with
listen
me.
to it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I recorded it, but that one stuck with me. The simple things stick with me, and it made me laugh. But it's so true. It's
Yeah.
just do the thing, do the did, so you can do the do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
He's so great. So let's think about marketing for a second. That's your world, right?
Mhm.
But it's not all about selling. You're not marketing just to sell.
Mhm.
I think it's, from what I've heard from you, it's more about connection.
Mhm.
What does that actually look like in action? How does a brand connect with its real audience?
Mhm. That's a great question. If you're confident in what you have to offer, that's going to show up in your storytelling. Whether, if you're afraid of camera, you don't have to get on camera, but share that. Start sharing what you have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing. Being authentic in that and honest, and that's going to attract the people that want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and don't get caught up in like posting every single day. Do what feels right for you, even if it's just one thing per week.
Yeah.
I think it's telling your story, being authentic, and people connect with that more than selling. Um, I have product clients where you are going to show the product because basically that is what you're selling, but then you have services, which is a whole different ballpark,
Yeah.
and you have to build that trust. People buy from who they know, like, and trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all know that. So it's building that trust, showing your confidence, and just again, showing up. I'm saying it too much, but
No,
it is
well, it's
showing
important.
up.
It is. Well,
The
I've had
honesty.
to try to wrap my head around it because social media has always been a challenge for me. And um, just because, one, you look at all of these other posts, everybody, it's well done, it looks well done, and it's
Mhm.
like, I don't have the time to create something. Like, it would take me all day to put together content like that. So I've tried to shift my mindset to, like, what is a pain point? Connect with people in the pain point, right? What is, like, educate them around something they can do to overcome that, right? And here's also a solution we can provide. And now I'm trying to wrap my head around, is there a testimonial of someone who's experienced that thing and overcoming that challenge? And can we use it over time to tell a story? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's that
all
honesty,
connected. Yeah,
that
all
honesty.
connected back to one pain point instead of feeling like I'm rapid firing random stuff out there, like maybe over time tell a story. So this is my new mindset. I'll let you know how it works.
Yeah, and I'm awful about posting them because I'm so busy making everyone else look good. But when I do post,
Yeah.
it's sharing those stories, those testimonials. Get the testimonials from your clients, share those. Tell a little story. I've done posts where I'm holding coffee, or just telling a little bit of my story.
Yeah.
Just fun things like that really help. How you show up, what you have to offer, and
Yeah.
like the pain points.
Yeah. So going back to the title of the episode, Your Story Matters, it made me think about what you were saying earlier about how your story, your background really shaped the impact you want to have today. Do you mind sharing some of your story?
Absolutely. So I'm going to go back to the crayons, right?
Okay, let's go to the crayons.
I grew up in a broken kind of home. Felt love, but I think there was a little neglect there, and but that's where the creativity in me sparked. That's how it kept my mind occupied, and the creativity, and just kind of growing up in that, um, it was a negative, not normal environment,
Yeah.
pushed me to want to do better, like not grow up living like that as well.
Hmm.
So I really dug into art, and I really thought my identity was in art and what I could do and offer people, and in a sense it is, but I went to college and everything, and um, I think it was through the brokenness. Like I lost my dad to cancer in 2005, and it was a hard season. I just moved back from Arizona, and we got in a moving accident. Tractor trailer ran us off the road in the middle of New Mexico,
Gosh.
and everything we owned was like laying in the desert. We were flipped over. Lucky to be alive, right?
Hmm.
I didn't have a faith walk then, so this couple, they were a godsend, stopped, and the wife took me back to check into a hotel room. My poor husband had to help like load everything up that we had left on a flatbed. And I got back to the room and I called my father, and he said he'd been praying for me. And I was like, wow. But that was traumatic. And
Yeah.
then, 3 weeks later, I get home. I'm have this wonderful new job, and don't have anything. We're sleeping with my in-laws for a little bit, and no car, nothing. Everything was destroyed. And I found out my dad has cancer, and it was just like, wow. And then it was his mom, my grandmother, passed away 2 months after I found out that, and he's been in the hospital back and forth sick. He couldn't go to her service, and it was at that service where I kind of answered the altar call they do,
Yeah. Yeah.
and because I was like, I don't know if I would have gone to heaven, um, but I didn't want to be like, I wasn't a church person. No,
Hmm.
like I'm okay. I guess I got a ticket to heaven. If and 3 weeks later, my father passed away, and that was so painful. But even though I didn't know God, I would talk to him and pray to him, and I always like knew the Lord's Prayer. And through that time, like my mother, she was had a lot of mental illness and addiction, and just took off and hitchhiked like down so far away, and for like 10 years was like homeless in that situation. And but I was always like the lifeline. She would call me like in the middle of the night, and this was before like smartphones, right? And
Yeah.
I would be map questing where she's at and trying to find someplace safe for her to go, and like Western Union her money to get
Wow.
back to the shelter she strayed from. Just like not normal kids, being a
At what
kid.
age?
Well, this was in my 30s, like after my dad died.
Wow.
Yeah. But, one prayer I always had, that God, don't let me find her like in a ditch somewhere. Just like let her be safe and warm and have her
Mm.
needs met. So I ended up moving her back to like I guess a elder apartment, that she got a room, an apartment at. And for the last 2 years, and I had just started my own business, and so I had that flexibility and time to help her. So it was like 2 years of back and forth doctors in and out of nursing homes. She was still doing the addiction thing, and
Mm.
just really sad. And the dementia was starting to happen, and man, when she passed, I was like completely crushed. I was like, oh my gosh, like, and I'd just been working, my like I said, wrapping up my identity into what I making money and just doing work. And um, but yeah, when she passed, it just kind of really, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I kind of like surrendered
Mm.
to God, and
Yeah.
was like, help me. And I ended up going to church, and was on like fire, and got baptized, and um, painted murals all over the church and sang worship, and ended up going on a mission trip to India, to Calcutta, India, going to Mother Teresa's house,
Amazing.
visiting orphanages, and a rice village along the river. Amazing. Like we would just go from place to place. We went to a Muslim village. That was intense. And would like worship with them, and tell them stories. And it was just amazing. Like what a
Yeah.
way to get broken in on your first mission trip. It was
Mhm.
extremely hot too. But and then went to Bolivia, and then God put like Valley Light Foundation. It helped them with their branding. And but I think it was when that surrender, I realized, oh, these are all gifts from you, and wow, like I'm just stewarding it, and I want to steward it better for you. And if I could just help one woman, God, just put those opportunities in front of me.
Yeah.
So it's been like 14 years since that happened, and I've really grown into um, my purpose is just sharing love with others and what I do and how I do it. And if you know, it's not wrapped up in like this is what I am because I can do this. It's who I
Mm-hmm.
am and who I was created to be to do this on purpose. So
That is amazing.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing your story.
yeah.
And I know it requires being very vulnerable, and
Mhm.
I hope it encourages others to be willing to do the
Mhm.
same. If you're leading a team or organization, you've probably realized this. One training session doesn't change behavior. That's why at SLC, we design customized leadership development programs, not one time events. We work with organizations to build alignment, strengthen communication, and create leadership systems that actually stick. If your team is ready for something intentional, fill out our organizational interest survey linked in the show notes or visit sierralearnership.com. That's sierralearnership.com. If you're considering sending your team to something this year, the question isn't just will they enjoy it, it's will it change how they operate when they come back. TSLS is designed for that. Clarity, better decisions, stronger execution. Join us October 14th. Secure your seat at theTSLS.com. That's theTSLS.com. If your follow-up moves slower than DMV traffic, it may be time for Work Smarter Digital. Work Smarter Digital gives small businesses a fully built, ready-to-run CRM sales system so you can stop wasting months setting up software and start following up tomorrow. This is your sign. Get the CRM. Get the system. Get moving. Visit WorkSmarterDigital.com to learn more and book a demo. That's WorkSmarterDigital.com. It's interesting because as I hear the full story now, I even saw recently, don't we have like a line of shirts and some other
Yes.
stuff
Yeah,
going?
I was
Share
joking
about
about.
that.
Yeah, I was joking. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we'll make some T-shirts. God, it's
Yeah.
been on my heart for a few years, and I did like a soft launch last year, but I really kind of dug into it and kind of shared my story with it, and there's some
Yeah.
blog posts on there, and I want to keep up that momentum, but just sharing my story with that one post got some friends and family interested, and not that the sale was the goal because really I just want to kind of sell some and give back, to nonprofits.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a treasured and loved dot shop. Shameless plug, but it's
No, not
fun.
shameless. Say it
So
again. One more time.
treasured and loved dot shop,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just from journal. I have journals and journals of where I've just sat down in the Word and have drawn a word that struck me and made it pretty, and I'm like, oh, that would make a great T-shirt or mug. Just
Yeah.
kind of taking those moments and that time and sharing it with others, and it's been fun. I want to carve out more time to do it, and that's just me focusing on perfection, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Of
Yeah.
course. Well,
Hmm.
I'm excited for you. I'll have to go on and take a look. I just briefly saw it the other day and I was
Hmm.
so excited for you, but I didn't get to go to the shop or anything and look at the products.
Yeah.
So it's all t-shirts or are there
There's some
other products
T-shirts,
too?
T-shirts, journals, mugs.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Maybe
great.
more things in the future. We'll
Yeah.
see. There's some bracelets on there from an artist from Valley Shine made that I put on there too.
Oh,
So,
cool.
mhm,
Yeah, I'll have to take a look. But that's exciting.
yeah,
It's cool to see how things have kind of um, I guess changed over time for you. If we would go back to before all of that happened, I'm sure you never would have imagined that you
no,
would be doing any of this today.
not at all, not at all. I'm so glad though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. So going back to purpose, not everybody knows their purpose right away. And some
Mhm.
people, I mean, I will have conversations about purpose all the time. And some
Mhm.
people just have not slowed down to think about what am I here to do? What am I
Mhm.
here to accomplish? They're just going through the daily motions,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Trying to get that paycheck, pay the bills, keep a roof over their head. Any words of encouragement for someone who isn't sure what their purpose is yet?
Well, your purpose isn't in your job, it's in who you are and who you're created to be, and that's to love others well in whatever you do. So if you're
Beautiful.
loving others well in whatever you do, and you're stewarding the skills and the gifts that you've been given, and you know, have a relationship with God, I think you're walking in your purpose.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. I love that. What have you learned about yourself through this experience?
That I am really hard on myself, I think. I think we all are.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of have to lighten up and laugh a little. Don't take everything so seriously. I think that was a big wall, and just to get me started to get past that point.
Yeah.
Like, just if you could only see yourself how others see you. I mean, really, it would be amazing. No, no one's looking at your imperfections. They're just looking at you and how you show up. There it is again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that, how others see you. Some people are, unless you take the time to tell someone what you see in them, right?
Yeah.
They might not be aware of how others see them. They're just focused on, their inner criticisms of themselves. So to me, that's a reminder of when you see someone doing something well, you see someone so talented, making a difference, to take the extra few seconds to
Right.
tell them.
A word of encouragement is so
Yes.
powerful.
Yeah.
And you never know. Like, if I think of someone or a friend and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to text them,
Mm-hmm.
that what I'm thinking. And they're like, oh my gosh, you don't know how much I needed
I
that right then.
needed
There,
it.
you just don't know.
Yep, you
Yeah.
have to listen when you hear that voice
Yeah.
say pause and message that person. You're exactly right. I've experienced the same thing, and it's always the same response. I needed that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Makes a big difference. So I always like to end with a branching out challenge is what I call it. If you could challenge the listeners to do something based on what we've talked about today, what do you want to challenge everybody to do?
I want to challenge you to sit down with yourself and really think about, how do you show up? What do you offer the people that you want to support in what you do? And to not be a perfectionist, but to just share and do it. Take the first step. Because your story does matter. It has something to offer, and the person that needs to hear it will hear it. So don't rob anyone of that blessing of getting to know who you are and what you have to offer the world.
I love that. Beautifully said. Thank you. So I want to make sure people can find you, and we're of course going to put your information in the show notes so people can as well. So where can people find Hancock Media?
mhancockmedia.com. Book a discovery call there. Also on Insta and Facebook at Hancock Media.
Perfect. And I want to mention, so you're a partner for Tri-State Leadership Summit. We're so
Yes.
grateful for all your work on that. So everybody who loves and compliments all the time the Tri-State Leadership Summit logo, that was all Meredith.
That was fun. That was a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
yeah. It's been a fun journey. You do beautiful work for us. We're so very grateful. But the way in which you've partnered with the event too and believe in what we're doing, thank you so much for your support. So people will be able to see you there as well. You'll have an exhibit booth. So if people locally are hearing this, it's a great opportunity to come to the summit and get to meet you in person.
Yeah, it's a great day. Don't miss it.
No, thanks. Thanks for the plug. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing all of this with everyone. I know that you've added a lot of value to people today. So I'm excited that we finally got you in the room, and we'll be sure to share all your information. Any final words?
Just show up. Don't be perfect.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Meredith.
Right. Thank you.
And thank you for sticking through to the end of the episode. I hope you found value. I hope that this gave you the confidence to show up just as you are and share your story with others, as Meredith had shared with us today. It does require a little bit of vulnerability. It's something that I had difficulty with in the beginning as I transitioned from education into my business. And how much of my story do I want to share? How much am I willing to share the challenges that I'm facing? Business hasn't always been easy. Do I share those challenges as they come up? And honestly, this podcast has given me the opportunity to be vulnerable and even share how difficult it was to get on the camera and do an improv podcast, which is so far outside my comfort zone. So I've found a lot of value in being able to share what challenges I'm facing and feel blessed by the people who reach out and share that connection with me and are willing to be vulnerable themselves. So hopefully this has inspired you to do the same. If you would like to be a guest on the podcast, you could always visit the website at branchingoutpodcast.com. There's a guest application there. We're also looking for sponsorships. We are about to enter our 3rd year of the podcast. It's been really fun so far. We are excited that we do have a podcast sponsor. We'll have some new episodes coming out soon that you'll get to hear that sponsor featured. And if you feel like your mission, your brand aligns with what we're trying to do, inspire people to apply leadership skills to everyday life and have a positive impact on those around them, we'd love to hear from you and feature you on the podcast as well. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to follow our podcast so you get those notifications every Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time so you can hear when a new episode is out. Until next time, keep branching out. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for choosing to spend your time here. I don't take that lightly, and I'm really grateful you're a part of this community. If something from today's conversation resonated with you, I want to encourage you to do a couple of things. First, take one small step. Not everything, just one. Growth doesn't come from hearing more, it comes from applying what you already know. And second, share this episode with someone who could benefit from it. These conversations are meant to spark growth, and you never know who might need to hear exactly what you just heard. If you haven't already, be sure to follow or subscribe to Branching Out with Sierra so you don't miss future episodes. And if you believe in this mission, helping people apply leadership skills to everyday life, and you're interested in sponsoring the podcast, I'd love to connect. You can find more information in the show notes or reach out directly. Quick note before we close, this podcast is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. While we share insights and experiences to support your growth, it's always important to apply what fits your situation and seek professional guidance when needed. And finally, I want you to hear this, no matter where you are in your journey, whether you are leading a team, growing a business, navigating change, or just trying to show up better each day, you are exactly where you need to be to take your next step. And you have the ability to positively influence others in every interaction you have. I'm rooting for you, I believe in your growth, and I'm here to support you along the way. Thanks for being here.